Before we begin this video, I recommend that you visit google.com and search for dinardata.com. This website is a great resource for the latest updates on Dinar Guru news, all conveniently located on one page. For more information, I encourage you to visit the site.
Sadoni comes out and he mentions that we are in the completion phase of the HCL. We know the HCL needs a rate. Sadoni said the payments would be through the electronic cards, not cash. We think that's because cash would give us 1,310, but through the cards we think it's going to be with a new rate. Frank, I do not know this for a fact, but I agree with you totally that your cards, they are based on a new exchange rate. It makes no sense for them to be based on a restricted program rate. Government parliamentary meeting today discusses boosting non-oil revenues and developing the economy. Iraq is going to be needing non-oil revenues. We all know that, the last 18 months, almost 2 years, has been to get Iraq to a private sector and to get them to boost their non-oil revenues. I have always stated, if the dinar is ever going to go up in value, it will be based on Iraq's economic success. This is clearly the path Iraq is taking. Nothing is random. Only with the success and growth can we see an increase in value. The good news is we are seeing progress. Question: does anybody think the RV could happen before the election? Marks: I still think it could. The world needs this badly. Comment: I think we will see it in the next 10 days. Marks: 90% of my sources agree with you. Comment: I have a feeling it could be any day. Marks: I have that same feeling. The operating budget is already approved and complete. They're going to be adding additional funds to it, that's why the budget remains incomplete. They have to amend it to add the additional supplementary funds to it and increase and change the budget's expenditures. That's all that we are waiting on. Let me calm everyone's fears about having to go to Jordan, Egypt, or Turkey to do your exchange. That is the most absurd thing I have ever heard. It is nothing but fear porn. Aki, Fanul News Iraqi banking business associate and U.S. private bank manager, told me in person, in Delaware, that he was going to open banks in the USA for his uncle, and this was in 2009. He did exactly as he said. He will be exchanging dinar as fast as he can go when the time comes. This rumor is as baseless as the myth that exchange centers will give you a higher rate. The government forms a higher committee to adapt Iraqi banks to international financial requirements. Central bank governor: we have put in place methods to secure the provision of dollars and are subject to strict supervision. Alak announced today, Wednesday, that all transfers are subject to auditing processes. While he indicated that the decline in oil prices has nothing to do with the rise in the exchange rate on November the 20th to the 21st, we have a curfew for the very first census in the last 27 years. Frank, it looks like Sadoni ordered for this new census to occur for your HCL benefits as Iraqi citizens. It seems to me the only reason he's doing it now is because you have a new exchange rate that they can work with. If not, there wouldn't be a new census, as they determine the fair amount everyone is supposed to get. This new census emo screams that there is a new exchange rate. A report by the British oil price website, which specializes in economic and energy affairs, confirmed on Thursday that oil markets are exposed to a storm of economic concerns, which led to an extended decline in oil prices, exacerbated by the latest phase of hedging by banks, as the crushing decline pushed the prices of crude oil and oil products to the most bearish limit since the beginning of the global financial crisis in 2008. The price of a barrel of oil, which reached $68 since September 10, represents the lowest price since December 2021, and while oil prices have risen by about $5 per barrel per week since then, commodity analysts at Standard Chartered indicated that this represents a limited recovery at the present time, he added. Oil markets are ignoring the imminent reduction of more barrels from the market in the coming months as Russia, Iraq and Kazakhstan have submitted their compensation plans to the OPEC Secretariat for the excess crude oil production for the first 6 months of 2024. According to OPEC, the entire excess production will be fully compensated over the next 15 months until September 2025, with Russia cutting 480,000 barrels per day, Iraq 1,184,000 barrels per day and Kazakhstan 620,000 barrels per day, he continued. The report explained that high-level visits to Iraq and Kazakhstan by OPEC Secretary-General Haytham Al-Ghais indicate that OPEC intends to follow through on the promised cuts. Al-Ghais said after visiting Baghdad, "I received strong assurances that Iraq remains fully committed to ongoing market stabilization efforts." During this visit, Iraq presented clear and decisive steps to compensate for overproduction and gave assurances that it will achieve full compliance in the future. The report indicated that in another bullish catalyst, the latest weekly data from the U.S. Energy Information Administration revealed that crude stocks at the West Texas Intermediate pricing point in Cushing, Oklahoma, fell for the 5th week in a row and for the 9th week in the past 10 weeks. Crude stocks also fell by 1.7 million barrels per week to a 10-month low of 24.69 million barrels, and are now about 11.25 million barrels below the 5-year average.